whoever considers himself like Anishinaabe, like at heart, they should know how to do an invocation prayer. That's just my belief. But great Graham.
The name of the book is Nukumis Minawa Uzawa Junia Wigwam. Grandmother and the Gold Wigwam. Children's Story and Anishinaabe and Resource book to utilize with the game boards. Then it goes on to page 2, Table of Contents, Grandmother and the Gold Wigwam, 1 to 10. How to say an introduction. In 11, 12. Wisanawin game, food sentences, that goes with the game, with the food game. 13, everyday words, sentences, that goes with the everyday word game. Animal game sentences, there's sentences all in Anishinaabe, 14 to 16. Weather game sentences, colors, Agindaso Junia money sentences, 19. Parts of Net Lake. Karen's
Interpretation of dreams.
Interpretation of dreams in 22.
Jajawanigijik invocation.
Okay, that's his grandpa's prayer. Jajawanagishik, that's an Indian name. Then we have color pages 29 to 30. And this book belongs to, and there's a place where they can write their names. And each have a book in school, and they can go through that. And then there's another page. It's Ani National, Ani Nashki Bines Indigenous Cause, Nungum, Nigi Mochue Nukumis, Beatago Gikido Anishinaabe Moen. Okay. Hi, my name is Thunderbird gliding down from the sky. Today I am going to visit my grandmother. She speaks the language. Then the other page is Bindigan Anin just come in and how are you, my grandchild? Nukumis, Nashkivinas Oma. Nukumis, Thunder. You wanna read? Get
Oh yeah. George played a nice beat at the end of the.
Was that this?
Oh, there's a little funky beat at the end.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's okay. Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this.
page.
So the grandchild is going to, is heading to the Gold Wigwam to visit his grandmother. He says, Nukumis, Nashkibinas Oma. Kichi ya gikadu bindigan ani neji ya nujas. The elder said, come in, how are you, my grandchild? Nashkibinas gikadu naginata Anishinaabe moin, gida Anishinaabe moin na. Nukumis gikadu gida bajatuna Anishinaabe moin kabegijik. I speak the language. Can you speak the language? My grandmother said you should use your language every day. So the grandmother lives in the Gold Wigwam. They're page number 4, Niwin. They're in the Gold Wigwam. Nukumis, namatabin nujas, gegu goin de moin, shunach chigeu guma, gegu do again, nashki manaski kadu, ninisidu tum nukumis. So the grandmother said, sit down, my grandchild. I'm going to tell you something. They raise trouble here. Don't you do that. And the Nashki Banas says, I understand. Nukumis giyikadu, kichiya giyikadu, akina gegu mayamukuk, you came down in Anishinaabe mo nujas. Gujinamajada. Grandmother said, everything we have here is spiritual. Know your traditional language. Let's go someplace. Page number 6. The place they go, they're by the lake landing, in that lake. Nukumis Gikadu Onabin Eudi, Nawigwan, Nanambuju and Dayan. Look over there, Spirit Island, Nanambuju's home. Nukumis Gidasa, Nukumis Gikadu, Gidasa, Sama, Gishpin Gigadu, Manitugu Gibizinda. Grandmother said, you put out tobacco, if you talk, the spirits will listen. Page number 8. A long time ago, we were called people of the thick woods. A long time ago, we spoke the language all the time. You can do it, grandchild. Know your language. Let's start. So the basic the morals of that story is there's 4 things that the grandchild is told.
That's all Indian.
There's four rules to the gold wigwam story. Don't cause trouble. Learn your language. Put out tobacco and talk to the spirits. Those are four rules that I, growing up for me, like I said that. Explained like the history of how I learned, and it does now, because that's all that there is. Yep. And there's the workbook. Once the child has the curriculum, they'll be able to write their own name, their age, their clan, and their where they're from.
Oh yeah, that's laid out nicely. I like the way that you got that organized there.
The colors match with the sentence too. Like, this is how you ask, like, "My Gunesh Gadu Dem, what is your clan?" It matches purple to purple. Mm-hmm. So it is like a little workbook structure. And yeah, so that's what the story the story is. There's 4 rules to, as to, like, people tell you to learn your language, but they don't say why. And that's what this story does. It tells you why, like, everything we have around us, whether it's the water, the trees, the anything, just anything, food, life itself, water is life. Everything is spiritual around us, and knowing your language, not causing trouble, putting your tobacco out, talking to the spirits, you'll find that, you get given things in life. And if you do those 4 little things, that's what I was taught as a child. If you do those 4 little things and you do them right, man, like, your journey, you're going to be given, like, opportunities that you never thought you could have. Mm-hmm. And that's why, that's why these young kids, I want to stress to them, is that, learn the language for yourself, not for anybody else. Do it because you want to do it. And don't ever let anybody make you feel ashamed for speaking your language or laughing at you or anything like that. Don't ever feel that you can't speak your language. Like, that's, if we brought back all the previous chiefs from the past and they were here today, they would stick up for you, just like how George said with his sister would. She would stick up for people and help people, and that was the Indian way back, long time ago. Go ahead, Graham. I know you want to say something.
This one goes with the Wisin the food game, and it's all Anishinaabe and Anina Wegunan Ogi Minikwayan. What would you like to drink? And it has like Nibish, Macadamish Kikiwabu, all these kind of things. And come on, let's eat. Ambeda Wisinida. It has all the language on here in sentences. Niwisine, I am eating. Niwisin. Niwisin, I am going to eat. Wegunesh, Gizekwe, and there's everything like Gikanapsi, Kukush, and just everything about food games. Then there's another one. It's about what's this one now?
This one. So there's, I believe, 12 words on the everyday words. 24 spaces. Oh yeah, and another thing I have to explain is this curriculum goes with those game boards we sell. It basically takes a section, like say the food game we have. There's 24 spaces on that game board, 12 in English, 12 in the language, and it's like a memory matching game if you go along forward. So miigwech will be on one space, and thank you will be on another space. So it takes those 12 words and puts them in sentence form. So okay, how do you use miigwech in a sentence besides just saying thank you? You could say miigwech gibi zhao ma, thank you for coming here. And if you were thanking a group of people, you would say miigwech gibi zhao goma, gibi zhao ag at the end of the.
Gida miigwech wida away Anishinaabe. You should give thanks to the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whoever gives you something, give miigwech wida.
Yep.
When he gave you land.
And so there's, I believe shkuzin's on that everyday word a game too, huh? You put shkuzin on there?
Yeah.
So to combine them, you could say shkuzin, we sinin. I've heard you say this a lot to my dad and my uncles. Shkuzin, we sinin. When they come up to rice, she says, wake up, eat. And then there's the ikwe word on the game. For sentence forming with that, all you do is add akuzi after ikwe. Ikwe akuzi, the woman is sick. Inini jikandam, the man is happy. So it starts to teach these kids like how kind of just to slowly put sentences together, like what you talked about.
Yeah.
Once you, and my advice to you is play the game boards first, learn the base words, and then you can start the curriculum. And then that's how I started too. Like my grandma and Don used to have these old, 25 years ago, they made these big white poster board things there, and they weren't as colorful and designed as they are now, but that's how I learned. I played the games first. Mm-hmm. She would sit down with me and talk with me, and this curriculum is basically just kind of like, in a way, how I learned as a child. And my way might not work for everybody's way, but I'm just giving that option. Like, oh yeah, like whoops, I'm sorry. My headphones scraped against the microphone.
Animal sentences like migizi ogin amatabi, mitig eagle sitting in a tree. Ma'ingan ogil say wawash sheep. The wolf hunts deer. Makwa ogik skuz makwa ogik skuzi zigwan makwa gi neba dagwagin. Bear sleeps in the fall, he wakes up in the spring. Omakaki gawashkani, frog jumps. And there's Mikina Beka Dizi, the turtle is slow. And you could use it make other words.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are all through the curriculum. There's more animals. Wabus ogi wapshkizi, the rabbit is white. Wagush
Ogyuse, Wabu.
Wabush ogise, Wabu's hunting.
The fox hunts the rabbit.
Adiknidu Dam, I am Caribou Clan. It just has, and there's some more animal.
over your pen.
What did I do?
It's okay. Oh, you just zoomed in. Okay, there you go. I like that sentence with the deer. Ogi.
Ogi wapama, wawashkishi. You seen a deer. You saw a deer. Agashi nanukasi.
The
The hummingbird is small. And there's Ani and Ezra Webuk. How is the weather? Sentences. A one. A Gujing. It is foggy outside. It tells you, about Zugapun, a Gujing, and it tells how the weathers are. Gishate, a Gujing, hot outside. Gisina, a Gujing, cold outside. But you could add other things, like you could say, Gishate nungum, hot today, nungum. Gishate gijinago gishate. Yesterday it was hot. You just have to learn them little words.
Yep.
Look, and there's the colors. That's good. That's how, like in Brown Bear, it tells the animal and the color. Uzawi makwa, wegunen, wabandaman. What do you see? Ni wabindan, miskubineshi, gonna wabamig. Miskubineshi, wegunen, wabandaman. Ni wabindan, uzawa, she, gonna wabamig. The yellow duck, Then it has like Anemush, Wegunan, Wabandaman, Wabshkizi Anemush, white dog, Wabshkizi Anemush, or you could say Wabshkizi Wabuz, Makadewa, Monishtanish, that's a
Black sheep.
black sheep, yeah. And you can learn by animals and colors, like Nigi Daan, Maskwa, Misko, Minjkawanan. I have red mittens, Minawa, Misko Gudas, red dress, You can use colors. Makadewa, what do you say, coat jacket? Biskawagan. Black jacket or coat. Biskawagan. You can use them, and there's a junia. It tells a junia, like Bejguabik, $1, ni Nanobik, Medaswabik, and it just tells, and if you can go on more, and then there's parts of Net Lake, there's Sabikune Zagi Igan. Some say Sabikune Zagi Iganing, but Jesse always said Sabikune Zagi Igan. And there's like Popple Creek, Ozadi. That's how you say a popple tree, Ozadi. And creek. And wood duck, Sia Moose, ZB. And there's all Fish Creek, Gigu, ZB. And Plum Island, Bagasan. That's how you say a plum you can eat, a fruit, a plum. So they said that because that island was full of plums. That's why they called it Plum Island. Bagasan. And then there's a big island, Chiminis. An island, Naui Guam. In Gaga, Gashta, Guayasag, ZB, Lost River. So there's all kinds of stuff here that can be on
There's your section. the interpretation of dreams.
Do you want to read that, the grammar section?
Yeah, so there's a dream catcher in the top under the chapter title, and it says, Wawajagun, dream catcher. Wagunash kaki bawajage dibikum. What did you dream last night? And I put a quotation under my grandma's picture on this chapter, and it says, dreams are how the spirits communicate with us. Spiritual dreams usually occur at 3 or 4 in the morning. So I give 6 interpretations. The first one is fire. Ishkode equals akuzi. Fire equals sickness. So if you dream of that, awesiuk, money. The next one is awesiuk equals money. Do what? Animals equals spiritual. That's a spiritual dream. Money do sug. Bugs equal trouble with law enforcement. I actually have a story about that. We now come in, but my grandma says we nud. But either way, it's dirty water, polluted liquid water. If you dream of that, that usually means someone around you is gawi notation, not sober. And the fifth one is Juniawabik, silver. It's a little. I put a little silver coin in there. Joanne Daguzi, silver equals fortunate. So that's a good dream. You'll probably run into some money or resources for later on. And if you dream of Makade equals Nibu, black equals death. If you dream of that, that's not a good dream. That's someone is gonna pass. So these are just. This section is dedicated to my gram. This because the story behind all this knowledge that I put in this book is my grandma always talked about leaving something for her grandkids, and not just her grandkids, the kids of the children of Boys Fort, and anybody who believes in the language, the culture. She wanted, she always talked to me and said, before I go. I don't always like to have those conversations because I don't ever, want to imagine that. But she says that she wanted to leave something here for not just her grandkids, but for the people of Boys Fort. And that's what I did. I went to work, and she did the translations, most of them. And I just took what she told me and put it in these chapters. So this is a great starter. Oh yeah, oh yeah, there we go. And there's my grandpa's section. The Jajawanigijic invocation. I was kind of skeptical at first of putting this in there because I didn't want people to think that I'm just trying to take what I was given and know and just put it in a book. But I just thought about it. I said, these kids should know how to lead off in an invocation prayer. And this section actually leads them to. I believe in these kids, man. Like I do. I truly do. I was looking at them just about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, and I want them to be able to start this invocation prayer as soon as they can, because they're our future leaders, and they should know how to lead off in an invocation prayer. Like when leaders have meetings, the tribe has meetings. Every one of these kids should be getting taught how to do an invocation prayer. And this is what this section does.
And I'm glad at that ceremony this morning. I'm glad Vern said the words out loud and clear so the kids could hear. He didn't say it like almost whisper it, like where nobody could hear him, but he said them nice and loud, like Sama. The kids probably knew what he was saying when he said Sama. And how do they know if we don't
teach them
like the prayers?
Well, just from a historical standpoint, all of our listeners, I don't think you understand, but that's not what I wanted to say. I think there's a degree of what's that word? Where you're not aware of the conditions that our people were under, probably for the past 100 years, plus, where a lot of this knowledge was suppressed, even just looking at what Perry and Karen have developed here, you know, he's passing it on or helping her pass this information on as quick as he can, and he's doing a real awesome job. I mean, if you get a chance, go on our Facebook feed right here, and Karen is showing you some of the renders that they have from their upcoming curriculum release, and it's, I don't know, it just looks amazing to me. I mean, I remember you know, when you were first talking about this, I was like, no man, you go with your art, you know. And so I'm glad they push forward with this, and they have a particular style, and I like it. And like I said, for the past 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, I mean, this kind of stuff was frowned upon, you know, as far as our development. And one of the bravest ones, of course, is the legendary, what's that one, Nimishumis, that book, you know. So this is right in that era there, and I do believe this is a great example of what's to come. And you've done a fine job, both of you.
Thank you. These
are the color pages that are in the curriculum. That's Anthony's art, and I think I'm gonna have Anthony do some more our Indian art pages.
Oh, he's so talented. I mean, just keep on going with that, Anthony. Just what you're doing. I mean, it's. I mean, keep sounding. It's awesome. You know, keep up the good work, and I'm sure a lot more work will come your way.
Yeah, I really like this book that me and Terry went through it yesterday evening when he came down, and he is a good designer.
I'm just nowhere near Anthony's level. But
No, I think she's talking about the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way the content comes together, or at least is displayed. So
we keep trying to get Anthony to do one more artwork for us, and it would be so beautiful. You want that caribou head and that native woman on that one. His artwork is just, it's out of this world, you know. And I'm a good children. I do the children artwork, and Anthony does the more advanced kind of artwork. And we're gonna try get him to do one more artwork for us.
keep at it, Anthony.
Yep. Proud of you, man. Proud of you.
So basically, this is going to print this product right here?
Yes, I submitted it yesterday after about 4:30 after I got off work here. Because WA stays open till about 5 sometimes, and they got it, and then they said that they're gonna give me a quote first, and then I'm just gonna start off with 100. And I think I keep bumping the mic. Tone fixed it for me.
Oh, it's in your face.
Oh, was it my
Can't
face?
see your face.
Oh, my bad. And so it takes roughly 3 to 4 weeks for WA Fisher to print. They're kind of spendy, but they do a really good job with the printing, and they always have our stuff on time.
And that's what I'm looking for, donations for I don't know how to write grants or anything, you know, and in order to this to make a go of it, of this curriculum, you know, we have to have Junior, which I don't have, and you know, Perry don't have either, you know. So.
Yep.
Well, there's some. I know of some funds available that we could probably put a package together and submit for. So keep bugging us about it. You know, saying, hey, any more word on, you know, what you guys can do to help fund this project, and we'd certainly be proud to do that.
And there's a lot more things out there that we can do. You know, I got a lot of ideas on how to teach kids and even adults, but you know, I listened to the RTC meeting yesterday, and I'm glad there's 2 people on there that use their language a bit, And that's Kathy Chavers and Shane Drift. They're the only two. Like Kathy said, Minogi Sheb, good morning, Minogi Sheb. And when they do count, they said, Shane, Oma. He said, that means here, And when the meeting was over, Kathy and Shane both said, Giga Wabamin. And that's a start there. I never heard anybody from the RTC say this at all, I don't think.
The more they do that, the more
It's gonna
it's
catch.
yep, it sets the tone. Like, okay, you're hearing it, they're using it. Some people I would never ever criticize anybody for not using the language, because it can be nerve-wracking. Some people are afraid that they might say something off and people will laugh. And as like I said before, like, it's crazy to talk about that custom. If you ever read the Chippewa Customs book by Frances Densmore, she talks about it, how 100 years ago, early 1920s to the 30s, it was actually a custom for other dialects to laugh at each other, how they would say certain words. But that custom and teaching doesn't translate well to today.
Well, I think it's because we've been I don't want to say colonized, but we've learned their way of internalizing that. Like we're making fun of them, and that's not
what
it is.
doing,
I mean,
yeah.
we're kind of recognizing the difference in that, especially if it's language.
Yep.
And no, it's not meant to hurt or harm, or maybe in their culture it does.
Yeah.
You know, but in ours it's a way of camaraderie. It's a way of being one with each other. And I really want to encourage people to kind of set all that aside, and if you're feeling those negative vibes or whatever, don't fall into that. That was a tool dominant culture used to suppress our way of life.
Oh yeah.
They made fun of it, and it wasn't fun to us, it was fun to them and only them. And so that's not a fair way of being with one another. And that's just when we got together, we just we teased. We had a laugh at one another, but there was no animosity about it. We understood the difference, and we understood what the humor was about. And I don't know if there's any real experts out there that, other than Densmore, that can kind of relate those kind of stories about.
There is one, when I was looking through Monroe P. Kelly's stuff, he had an interview from 1989. He talks about when his time up in that lake here, he said that he's from an older generation, so he used the term Indians, but we don't use that. We use Anishinaabe. I'm not, I shouldn't point that out, but he talks about the Indian. This is paraphrasing from what he said. The Indians were very humorful. He said most people. I have to pull that interview up. I have to get permission too from the Historical Society to use that interview. And he just talks about it. He says up here, coming up to Net Lake. I think he even spent some time in the Tower area. I'm not sure. He talks about the humor. Yeah, like back then, there was a lot of humor, and it wasn't in negative light like what you said. Like, we weren't teasing each other just to be mean or be, it was just in the good spirit of fun. And because can you imagine how boring life would have been if there was no humor, though?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a fact of life. So
that's just one of the values, Bobby. It is. That means laugh at yourself. Bobby, it is. And but I was just thinking, that's why I said this guy that he never lived on a reservation. He's Indian. He's band member, but he has humor. He has Indian humor. And And that's what I was thinking. There's stuff. Well, it's already almost now, Quig.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna say this. Buju anin energy aya. Buju anin energy aya nungum. How are you today? Buju anin energy aya nungum. Ambe daga away. Bakite ji ige me kapit gip bakti. Oh, I get tongue tied using this. Ambe daga, please come, please. Gigap kite ji ige da. Let's go play ball. Ambe daga. See, come. Then daga, please. Bakite ji ige da. Let's play ball. Let's go play ball. And this other one is saying, Ani indi. Where? Ani indi. You did chiwaka iganing. At the Indian Center. Gidaya na bikwakud. Do you have a ball? Gidaya na bakwakud. Nisaya udayan. Bejik bakwakud. See, if you listen close, Nisaya, my older brother, has udayan. Bejik, one. Ball bakwakud. Bejik bakwakud. Anina pigigi idaminawa. When should we play? What time? Anina P is when. Like, Anina P gimajayan. When are you gonna go? But he said, when should we play? What time? Anina P gigi udaminawa. Ishkwa now Quag. You see now Quag in there. That's noon. Ishkwa. After this afternoon. Ishkwa. And if he would have said Jibwa, it would be before. But it's Ishkwa now Quag. Afternoon. Bidun sanad bakwa could bring your ball. Bidun is bring. Sana, you sing. Bidun sana, sana. Bakwa could. A bakwa could is a ball. Bakwa could. Gigawabamin in Bejik de neck. I will see you at 1 o'clock so you could see. Bejik, one again, de neck. Gigawabamin. Bejik de neck. You can pick out words in
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's a meal. Meal. That means that's all. Me should go. Kishi Tamen. We're almost ready to quit. Me should go.
Yes, you go.
Me should go in the squat Tamen. We're done. The squat Tamen.
Hope. All right, that's going to do it for today. Miigwet Bizendawieg. Thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you on. Let me make sure I'm on the right day here. We will see you on Tuesday for the Karen Drift Anishinaabe Moen show.